Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Froe Show. My name is Frank Mencken and I'm joined, as always, by my beautiful co-host who's currently behind the camera, Joe Murray. Are you gonna come join me? He's just checking. I don't actually know if that mic is properly plugged in. It's probably fine. I'm Frank Mencken. Welcome to the Froe Show. This is episode 86. What's up? How we doing?
Woo, I'm here.
Look at that camera. Look at that camera. Look at that camera. Wow.
Every camera.
This is our whole production, baby. Welcome. How we doing? We hope you've had a great week. It is bloody hot.
It is
over
hot
here. And I am currently really regretting the fact that we have a leather couch now.
Yeah. Starting to stick to it a little bit.
This was a poor choice. We're just going to get progressively sweatier over the next couple of months, I think.
Yeah, yum.
Because I've just realized that when we did the show in our prior location, that room was air conditioned.
Yes.
Which I've totally forgotten. So
really? You forgot that?
I forgot that.
Oh, I remember that quite clearly this morning when I walked outside.
Yeah. So that's fun. So we're just gonna sweat in here. We've got one little fan.
Little pedestal fan.
Little pedestal fan that's blowing back and forth. So it's still spring. It's not even summer.
I know. Yeah.
That's
sucks.
stupid.
What's it actually today? It must be like 30 already. At least.
It is current. Yeah, it's 30 currently.
Yeah.
That's absurd. If we have to record an episode in 40-degree heat,
I think it's gonna happen.
I'm gonna cry. I'm just gonna cry. That's not worth it at that point.
It's time for an aircon, I think, in here.
Yeah, maybe we just get one of those like the standing aircons, the like room aircon. This room's too big though.
Yeah.
So I don't know how we could possibly.
You'd really have to insulate it, but we can't. It's a lot of money.
That is a lot of money. There's got to be a solution, right?
Or you can take the sun off the roof, like put a shade over or something.
Yeah, that would work. But I think the issue is that it's a big metal box.
Yeah.
So it's just hot all the time. I mean, look, it's fine. If it gets unbearable, we can just film back in the prior location for summer.
I think we will.
I think that'll be the move.
Yeah.
Because
we can move this stuff back. Well,
this stuff
the
is
plants.
Yeah, we can take the plants. Yeah.
Might have to have a new set again.
It'll just be another new set. We'll do seasonal sets.
Yeah, okay.
We'll have a winter set and we'll have a summer set. Somerset Dam.
Hey!
That was good. That was funny actually. I stand by that.
That wasn't very
I can
funny.
see on the camera how sweaty my leg is already. I can look at the
gloss.
It's like gloss. I look like The Rock in any movie that The Rock is in. Oh man. Anyway, I do have something to talk about today. I've just realized.
Yes.
I saw Dune this week.
Yeah.
The big new movie. Now, I will say, I'm gonna say this very carefully so as to skirt around the issue. The movie is not out in Australia yet.
Right.
It will be out in December in Australia.
So, Frank, how did you watch it?
But I didn't want to have it spoiled for me.
But how did you watch it?
Well, it's available on HBO Max in the US.
But we're not in the US.
So
right?
I found a way to watch it through the HBO Max version, which was good. So I watched that.
Could you do that by like changing your VPN or something?
Yeah, let's say that. But point being, I saw Dune on a very good home theater setup with great sound and great visuals. And I will also say I'm absolutely going to go watch it in IMAX when it comes out in Australia, because how could I not?
Yeah, right.
But with all of that out of the way, all of that allegedness, and just sidestepping,
all the
housekeeping, it's fantastic. Okay. It's a very, very good movie, right. And I was fully prepared to go into it with just like it's like the blueprint for Dune. I don't know how much you know about Dune.
Not really.
Okay, so Dune was written, I think, 1965, and so it's kind of the blueprint for all modern sci-fi. So a lot of the elements of Star Wars are based off Dune. A lot of Star Trek is based off Dune. Really, any sci-fi from the 70s onwards has some element of something from Dune. Like that whole idea of a super rich fleshed out universe with like, where a lot of it's based around the politics of the universe, that sort of thing. That was all from Dune.
Oh.
So really, really fascinating that is like all from there. But they've tried to do several adaptations of Dune, all of which have fallen short. There's one movie. The original book is like 600 pages. Like the first Dune book. There's 6 books. The first book is 600 pages.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's like essentially it's like the Game of Thrones of sci-fi. It's
Right.
probably the best way to think about it.
Yeah.
So they've tried to adapt it multiple times. There was a movie in the 80s by oh my goodness. He's a very big director, and now I look like an idiot. Anyway, I'm gonna look it up while I talk. I think it's anyway. So that was the original movie, 1984. It came out by David Lynch. There we go.
Oh yeah.
By David Lynch. And so that was kind of became a cult classic over time. But it goes through the whole first book in like 2 and a bit hours. So the whole movie goes insanely
Whoa.
fast.
Yeah.
Just like there's no. It just zooms that movie.
Yeah.
And then there's a mini series from what I understand is very bad. And then this is the most recent adaptation. So this is the one with Timothée Chalamet, Zendaya, Jason Momoa, a bunch of other people, Oscar Isaac, and it's directed by Denis Villeneuve. Villeneuve, French guy, very good actor.
Yeah.
No, not French. Canadian. He's Quebec.
Right.
Quebecian. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, so he's done a bunch of films. Probably most noteworthy, Blade Runner 2049 is his
yes.
movie. Arrival is his movie. And then I think it's called Enemy. It's a movie with Jake Gyllenhaal.
I don't know that.
Okay. But he does a lot of like really beautiful cinematography and like just kind of a whole art house feel to all of his movies. So that's why Blade Runner didn't make a lot of money, because it was essentially a 3-hour long art house movie, which if you've watched the original Blade Runner, that's basically the same thing. So it makes sense. But anyway, that's a whole different topic. So when he was put on to direct the new version of Dune, everyone was kind of like, oh, this is going to like either be really, really good and he's going to really capture the vision of Dune, or it's just going to be like 3 hours of pretty landscapes and that's it, and no substance.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I've kind of been not on the hype train at all. I was just kind of like, yeah, like that'll come out and I'll see it when it comes out. But I also like am aware of how important it is as a milestone that this is being remade.
Yeah.
And I watched a couple of the trailers and it looked really interesting. And so I was kind of like, oh yeah, like I'll watch it, but I'm not like going to be particularly invested in it. So I watched it.
Yes.
The movie is, I think, just under 3 hours long.
Whoa, that's a long movie.
Didn't feel it.
Oh.
It went so fast.
That's good.
It went absurdly fast.
Right.
Like it finished and I was like, oh, we're finished. We're done. Okay. Sick. Cool. Yeah, cool. So this is, it's a part 1, part 2 situation. So based on the success of this film, they're going to greenlight Dune Part 2, which they did yesterday. They greenlit it, which is great.
Oh, wow.
Dune is currently the #1 opening weekend for Warner Brothers of all time.
Whoa.
Yeah, just
That's
absurd.
huge.
So yeah, it's very, very good. Now the first movie, it ends very abruptly. It's just kind of like finishes because it split the first book in 2, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
It's not like a crazy weird ending. It like makes sense in the context, but you do kind of feel it when it finishes.
Right.
You're kind of just like, oh, we're done. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Credits, I guess. Sick. So I imagine that when part 2 is finished, there's going to be a full length cut where they just cut the 2 films together.
Oh, you reckon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because it's it's literally just going to continue directly from where that left off. So
Yeah.
it makes sense. But yeah, couple highlights. The music is incredible.
Okay.
Just absolutely fantastic. It's Hans Zimmer, so
Yes, okay.
it
It can't not be.
can't not be
Yeah.
bad. So yeah, the music is fantastic. The sound design is insane, like actually insane. I was watching it, and I was listening to it, and there's one of the big kind of things in the film is that they can't walk across these well, they can, but they have to do it specially. Anyway, long story short, they can't walk across long expanses of desert because there's these massive sandworms in the desert. Yeah. And the sound for the sandworms coming through the sand is so terrifying.
Whoa, okay.
Because the whole movie, you don't see them until you don't see what they look like right at the end.
Oh.
You just kind of see their mouths.
Yeah.
And so the whole movie, you're kind of filling it in your head. But you can tell that these things are massive.
Yeah,
right.
So
Absurdly big. So it's just stuff like that, and then all of these there's obviously all the sci-fi ships and things like that. They all sound incredible.
Yeah.
One of the main methods of transportation is essentially a ship that's kind of like a dragonfly. So it's it's got the body and then the wing. It's got 4 wings. So it's the sound that those things make is so cool. Every time it takes off, I was like, ooh, I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
And so one of the big plot points of Dune is that the main character Paul, who's played by Timothée Chalamet, has the ability to see the future, but his ability to see the future isn't honed quite right. So he sees versions of the future that may not be entirely correct.
Right.
And the way that they do the flashbacks and the flash forwards and things like that, a lot of it is very open for interpretation, which is really, really cool.
Oh, that's cool.
And that's Denis Villeneuve's kind of style of filmmaking. And there's one scene where there's this organization. I'm trying not to say too much about it, but there's this organization who's kind of pulling the strings on everything, and this is shown right at the start of the movie.
Yeah.
But there's a part where Paul has to prove himself to them, sort of, and so he has to put his hand in a box, and the box inflicts some form of pain on him, and it's to see whether he can overcome his animal instincts and just take the pain.
Yeah.
Or whether he'll take his hand out of the box. If he takes his hand out of the box, he dies immediately.
Whoa.
Yeah, so it's a very high stakes scene.
Yeah.
But the whole scene is played down really heavily, so it doesn't feel super high stakes. But then one thing will happen, and it doesn't feel tense, but then suddenly there's a poison tipped needle at his neck.
Whoa.
And the whole scene just pulls in on itself, and it's just things like that is so cool. And then within that scene, he puts his hand in the box, and there's in the book, apparently, from what I understand, it's supposed to be the feeling that you get from putting your hand in the box is your hand is burning off.
Whoa.
Your hand is just on fire. And so that scene happens, and then to portray that, it's not it burns, it burns. He's not talking, because the whole thing is that he doesn't he overcomes his animalistic instincts.
Yeah.
And also in the book, obviously you can hear his thoughts, he's thinking, but you can't portray that in the movie without it being cheesy.
Yeah.
So what Denis Villeneuve's done is he's doing it by interpretation. So he'll put his hand in the box, and then you'll get just a 2 frames of fire.
Yeah.
And it'll come back, and then there'll be a frame of fire, and then there's this one shot that's on screen for maybe 2 or 3 frames, and it's a hand in the desert, and the whole hand, it looks like wood, it looks like burnt wood, but you can tell that it's a hand. Just things like that, where it's you haven't, your brain has enough time to register that information, but not enough time to scrutinize it. So you're watching this scene and you go, oh, his hand burns. Why do I know that his hand burns?
Yeah.
Things like that, where it's just it's
crazy.
very well put together.
Yeah.
And all the special effects are incredible.
Yeah.
There were 1 or 2 shots where I was ooh, that looks a bit janky. That kind of looks like it was put together right before they closed, they stopped production.
Yeah.
But on the whole, the movie is beautiful.
That's
and it's
cool.
shot really well. The set design, the costumes, dude. The costumes are so cool.
Yeah.
They are so cool. Some of the best costuming I've seen in a movie in a very long time.
Wow.
And for a movie set on a desert, the color palette is so interesting.
Yeah.
It's like not just brown.
There's no. What about green? Are there any greens?
No, there's no greens, but
Yeah.
there's lots of blues, there's lots of orange, like really nice oranges and teals,
Oh.
things like that. Yeah. So it's all within that desert color palette, but it's not just like we're in a desert, so everything has to be dark.
Yeah.
Like it's really well done.
Yeah.
My only thing that I had was I got maybe 30 minutes in. The first hour of the movie, I'll say it like this. The first hour of the movie is essentially all exposition. It's literally just like, these are the characters, and these are the houses, and this is the world, and this is like the expectations of that world and what it sets up and that sort of thing. So
Yeah. You kind of have to do that if you're doing a part 2, though. Hey.
yes, and
Yeah.
you have to do that for a world like this that's so absurdly dense.
Yeah.
You have to explain those things. So I understood why it was happening, but I remember I was watching with my dad, and I got like 15 minutes in, and I looked over to him, and I went, oh my God, so many words. There are so many new words being said. It's like Harkness and Atreides and blah, blah, blah. And then you got the spice, and then you got this, and you got that. And you're like, like,
So much
so much
information.
information. Whereas I feel like a lot of older sci-fi, like new old sci-fi, like I'm thinking Star Wars and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
They have like 2 or 3 main concepts that they bring in.
Yeah.
Whereas Dune is just like, here's a whole world,
Yeah.
and you're just coming in on a random part of the story. Like it doesn't set it up. There's no character within the film that doesn't know what's going on. You know how movies do that, where they like will have a new character and then they'll have to explain the stuff to the new character, but it's actually like
Explaining it to
the audience.
Yeah.
There's nothing like that.
Right.
Like from the second the movie starts, it's just like they're just talking about the other houses and like about the things that have happened and are happening. And so you're kind of like, oh, okay, all right. So I think that kind of like connects there, and that's kind of there, which is interesting because it keeps you really engaged. But I can see that would potentially be a big turnoff for a lot of people.
Right.
But yeah, on the whole, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. And I'm so glad that part 2 has been greenlit.
Yeah.
So that'll come out October 2023. So
Oh, it's so far away.
that'll still be a while,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But very exciting nonetheless.
Yes.
So it'll be very cool.
I'm excited to see it now.
Yeah.
And to hear the sound design.
Yes. Yes. It's really good. We'll go watch it in IMAX when it comes out here.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I want to see that on a massive screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like just as big as possible. Projected on a building for all I care. Like I'm ready. I just want like my whole vision, just that.
All your peripherals and everything.
Yeah.
You gotta sit in the front row at the theater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I could just watch it in VR.
Yeah.
That'd actually be sick.
Could you do that?
I could do that.
You do.
Not like looking,
Not so you can
but
move
I could
around.
like set up a theater and watch it in a theater at like a big theater.
Has anyone made a VR movie?
Yeah, there's a bunch. Not like full production movies though.
No.
No, there's just not really a market for it. You wouldn't pour like $10 million into a movie that only like a couple 100,000 people could see.
Yeah, that's true. But everyone will have VR soon. You know?
Yeah, eventually, but like that's still probably 15, 20 years away.
Yeah.
Really, the thing that we need to get VR over the edge is a new competitor that's willing to go against Facebook.
Well, what do you mean?
Because Facebook owns Oculus. And they keep running their stuff into the ground because they keep trying to integrate it with Facebook, which no one wants to do.
Yeah.
No one wants to attach their Facebook account to their media account. Why would you
Yeah.
Why would you do that? And also because Facebook has a lot of poor reputation with like data management and things like that. And then you get like the new Oculus devices have eye tracking. So like
Yeah. Right.
yeah, like it's just like not great.
Yeah.
Imagine like you're watching something and then Facebook is tracking your eye data and then selling that off to advertisers so that they know where best to place ads. Like just things like that where you're like, oh, okay. Like I can see how that would go downhill very quickly.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of potential in VR. I just think it's still quite far away, unfortunately.
It's kind of sad.
Yeah, which sucks 'cause I really like VR,
Mm.
but no one is doing anything in the space.
No.
Like, there's one good full VR game, and that's Half-Life Alyx, and that's it. Even like the business capabilities of VR aren't even remotely there yet.
Yeah. I suppose no one's making money off it, hey?
No.
Yeah.
So someone just has to go all in,
And just push it real hard.
like what Apple and Microsoft did with computers.
Yeah.
Like that's the way that it's going to improve, is if Oculus gets a direct competitor.
Yeah.
And they're just fighting each other.
Yeah.
Same like PlayStation and
PlayStation,
Microsoft
Xbox.
with like, yeah, PlayStation, Xbox,
Mm.
Microsoft, Apple,
Yeah.
Netflix, and like the DVD market.
Yeah.
Like you need a direct competitor for something like that if you're going to improve.
But no one wants to compete with.
No one wants to compete with Oculus, with Facebook. Why would you want to compete with Facebook? You'd lose.
Yeah, every time.
Yeah, which sucks.
Unless you were Spotify and just made something crazy. I don't know.
Yeah. Unless you're some other unrelated conglomerate
Yeah,
like
just
Apple or
independent.
Microsoft.
Yeah.
If Apple or Microsoft made a VR headset, which I'm sure, like Windows does, like they have a Windows headset, Microsoft headset, which is not very good. But if Apple or something made a VR headset and it was self-contained, like just like an iPad or like a MacBook situation where you could just open it and it would
Like
just work.
they made one like that.
Yeah, the Quest.
Yeah.
But the problem is that they still require a lot of setup. So it's not as plug and play as you'd hope.
Yeah.
Which is what you really want for a device like that. That's that complicated that you just put it on and it works. Because that's the problem I have with my Rift S, which as well, minor rant, they
Yeah.
stopped supporting like 6 months after it came out. So I just got totally stomped on for buying their product.
Yeah.
And then like they were like, "Oh, sorry, you should have got a Quest." It's like,
What?
how could I possibly have known that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I will probably get that. They're going to release a new Quest soon, and I'll probably get that because I've seen like leaked footage of that, and it looks very good. And that has a lot more like business and art capabilities as well.
That's good.
So that could be interesting. But yeah.
Business capabilities.
Yeah, so like...
Man, that's a whole, like,
Yeah.
other world.
Well, because the advantage of virtual reality is that you don't need monitor space.
Yeah.
So if you work in VR, all you need is a desk, and that's it. Maybe a keyboard and a mouse. But if you have a wireless keyboard and mouse and a desk, you can have endless monitors.
What, so you just put your headset on and it's just...
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I've done it before a couple times for work. It's very good. It's very nice. It's very handy.
Oh.
Because there's no limit to the space.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, and then you've also got things like for architecture and design, you can just set up 3D models of potential designs and just physically walk through them with people. Be like, that's where the bathroom would be, and that's where this would be. And like virtual conference rooms are also a very big thing, where you're all in virtual reality and you like having a conference rather than Zoom.
Yeah.
Things like that, like and digital whiteboards.
Like Kingsman vibes. We put on the glasses and everyone,
Yeah,
like all the
exactly.
holograms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
So yeah, the capabilities for business are very, very large.
They just have to install them like everywhere then. But
Yeah, well, it just has to become a standard somehow.
yeah.
Or it has to become more financially viable for it to become a regular option.
Yeah.
Because ideally, you would want it to, you'd have to make it so that it replaces a computer or it replaces a phone.
How much is the Quest?
Like
Do you know?
$400.
Well, yeah, that's a lot cheaper than a computer.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd just have to have all the same capabilities.
Yeah.
And as you said, I guess, yeah, having that competitor to be like, you know, this is the new thing.
Yeah.
Rather than it just being a thing.
Yeah. I'm going to see what the Quest... I don't know what the Quest 2 is. I'm going to have a look now.
Because, I think that's the other thing. No one's really pushed it in the business world, and so no one knows that that's...
an option.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Quest 2 128 gigabytes is $479.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Still pretty pricey though.
Yeah, it's still pretty pricey. I mean, it's the same as a console.
Oh yeah.
Or no,
PS5s are
it's less
crazy
than a console,
expensive.
actually.
Yeah.
There's just not enough there yet to justify the cost, though, for me.
Mm.
Like, as much as I would love a Quest 2, just for the wireless free capabilities of it, I just don't see the practical use of it just yet. I already have one that works just fine, even though it's not supported anymore, and I have to like troubleshoot it every time I use it, which is why I don't use it anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, you used to use it a lot.
Yeah, but then they stopped supporting it, and more bugs kept coming up, and now like every time I plug the headset in, I just get like grey things, and I have to workshop it for like 2 hours.
Mm. It's annoying.
Yeah.
It's so
There's nothing you can do
stupid.
about it.
They're just trying to pull an Apple, but they did it too soon.
Yeah, exactly. They just like totally collapsed their own market,
Yeah.
which is dumb. So dumb.
It's Facebook, man.
Yeah, it is. That is it. It is Facebook, man.
Facebook just don't seem very good at anything.
No. No.
Anyway.
Oh well. What can you do, right?
Yeah.
It's just one of those things where you're like, all right, I guess that sucks, but it is what it is.
Do you reckon Facebook will have just like a big falling out at some point? Just
Facebook's
kind of
about to
die?
change their name.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know.
This could be it.
I think on the whole, it's too ingrained. Facebook. I mean, like we use Messenger for everything.
Yeah, that's true.
Like I don't know if this is a thing outside of Australia, but Australia everything goes through Facebook Messenger.
Yep.
It's like how in Europe everything goes through WhatsApp. I have no idea what America uses.
Through WhatsApp.
Yeah.
That's weird. I hate WhatsApp.
Me too.
Yeah.
I have no idea what America uses. What
Dunno.
would they use?
Think about what they use in movies. Normally just normal messages.
Text?
I don't know. It's probably like super cheap over there compared to here.
Yeah, no, they must have something. It's probably Messenger as well, actually. Wouldn't be
That's probably where
surprised.
we got it from.
Yeah.
Well, when we went over there, it was Snapchat.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
But that was years ago now.
Yeah.
Snapchat was also still the big thing here then. And don't forget, we were like 16.
We were
And so were they.
high school, yeah.
Yeah, so that's not that surprising.
Yeah.
Anyway, we got to wrap it up.
Already.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
We do.
All right. Sick. You want to finish with anything else?
Nah, I got nothing.
Sick. All right. Well, thank you so much for watching this episode of The Froe Show or listening to it. We hope we got you to work safely.
Yeah. Have a good day.
Have a good day or have a good night or wherever you are in your day. Thank you so much.
Good night.
And we will see you next week.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. I am so sweaty.
Yeah, it is really.
This is gross. Later. Bam, bam.